Welcome to The Death of Miss Whitmore, written by Afonso Carvalho and Ryland Mason. A Detective Shepard Rogers locked room murder mystery. Hello, friends, and welcome to The Death of Miss Whitmore. In last week's chapter, the investigation begins. The police were called, and the study door was broken in. The detectives arrive, along with the coroner, Doc Lou, and Tyler Raymond, the head of the CSI. The body of Miss Kitty is examined. Foul play is definitely in play. Chapter 8. More questions, no answers. Officer Tom Bray escorted the brothers and Brittany into the study and directed them to sit on the sofa. "Is there anything else I can do for you, sir?" Tom asks. "Thank you. That'll be all for now," replies Rogers. As Officer Bray returns to the hallway, Roger turns and studies the remaining family. He walks to the desk and sits behind it, still sizing up the three suspects on the sofa. He takes his time and watches them squirm in the awkward silence. He clears his throat as he flips through the pages of his notepad. "John, you're the oldest brother, is that correct?" "Yes, Detective." "I would like you to tell me about dinner last night," Rogers asks. "Well, it was our normal monthly dinner. It started with some cocktails in the den, and then we moved into the dining room and sat down for dinner. James asked me for a loan as we sat down, which I refused," John said. "You always refuse to help me," James shouted. "Then stop asking," John said in a raised tone. "You should not refuse your brother. You should help him," Brittany states, with an attitude. "Why should I help him? He makes more money than I do," John replies. "You have no life. You don't need all your money," shouts Brittany. "If you two are so strapped for money, get a job," John shouts. "I don't have to get a job. James is going to inherit everything," Brittany replies. "Over my dead body," John replies with venom. "Brittany, stop. You don't know what's going to happen," James commands. "I do know. John killed Kitty, so he's going to jail. So he can't inherit. So that means we get everything," Brittany states proudly. "Brittany, what brings you to that conclusion?" Rogers asks. "Well, I know James didn't kill her. I didn't kill her, so that leaves John. Who else would want to kill Kitty?" replies Brittany. "I think it's a little early in the investigation to place blame on anybody. This is only day one of the investigation," Rogers informs them. "Can you tell me where you went after you left the house last night? All three of you left together, correct?" Rogers asks. "Yes, Detective. We all walked out together. Brittany and I got into our car and drove straight home," James responds. "What about you, John?" asks Rogers. "I did the same. I drove straight home. As I exited my car, I waved goodnight to James and Brittany," John replies. "Is that true, James? Did John wave to you when he got home last night?" Rogers asked. "Yes, Detective, that's correct," responds Brittany. "Did any of you leave the house after that?" asks Rogers. "I stayed in for the rest of the night," John said. "We also stayed in," James remarked. "Can any of you prove that?" Rogers asked. "I was online most of the night, so I guess you can verify that," John said. "We both have a video doorbell. You can check the footage," James replies. Making a note of this new information, Detective Rogers continues to observe the three suspects, watching them and their nervous twitches and uneasiness. "Okay, You three can go for now, but do not leave town. And I'm putting a police detail on each of you." As the three of them rise from the sofa and head for the door, Brittany turns and looks at Detective Rogers. Then they all exit the room. Shepard leaves the house, gets into his car, and returns to the station. Adams stays at the house, waiting for Tyler from the CSI team. Rogers goes over the day's events in his head, which still needs to make more sense, but he needs to bring Captain Plant up to speed. A little before 2 p.m., Tyler arrives with his toolkit. "Hey, Henry, how's it going? Are there any new theories on this crazy case?" Tyler asked. "Nothing solid yet. That's why I want to try measuring the rooms and see where that gets us," Adams replies. "That's a good idea. Let's take a look at the blueprints and see what we got to work with," Tyler states. "Tyler, what would your theory be if you had to guess?" asked Adams. "Well, from what I see, there are only 3 possibilities. One being the windows, but they were all locked and unmolested. The second would be the fireplace, but the opening is too small. Third would have to be the door, but again, it bolted from the inside. That's all I can come up with," Tyler explains. As Adam lays out the blueprints on the desk, Tyler joins him, and together they calculate the dimensions of the 3 rooms. Pulling out the measuring laser, they begin with the study, lining up the laser with the 4 points in the room, 2 lengthwise and 2 widthwise on the walls. With the press of a button, the exact dimensions of the room appear on the handheld remote. 24 feet, 10 inches long, and 19 feet, 9 inches wide. Checking the blueprints, they discover that the room is 1 foot and 2 inches short, lengthwise. Widthwise, it is 2 inches short. "Well, that's interesting. 14 inches missing in this room," Tyler states. "Let's check the next room and see what that is," Adams asks. "Okay, let's do it," Tyler replies. As they go to the formal sitting room, they enter. "I think you're on to something here, Adams," Tyler comments. They begin setting up the laser, finding the right spot, and ensuring all points are set. Tyler presses the button. The laser beeps, and the measurements appear on the handheld display. 24 feet, 8 inches long, and 19 feet, 11 inches. That's 16 inches short in this room. So far, that's 30 inches missing, Tyler states. On to the den. Let's see how much short we are there, Adams asks. Entering the den, they begin setting up the laser and nudging some furniture out of the way, ensuring all 4 points are in place. Tyler hits the button, the laser does its thing, and the results appear on the handheld. The laser is 23 feet, 11 inches long, and 19 feet, 11 inches wide. Okay, so this room is 13 inches short. So in total, we're missing 43 inches, Tyler stated. So now what? How do we find 43 inches? What's the next step? Adams asks. The logical step would be to see what's behind the walls, Tyler replies. How do we do that without breaking down the walls? Adams asked. Hopefully it won't come to that. Let's try some thermal imaging first, Tyler suggested. Good idea. Do you have what you need for that? Adams asked. Yes, out in the van. I'll be right back, Tyler replies. In next week's chapter, missing space is discovered between the study and the 2 other rooms on either side. Now, Tyler and Adams need to find a way in to the hidden rooms. The suspect list continues to grow, and more questions are asked, but answers are nowhere to be found. So, stay tuned, follow, like, and comment. It helps us know that you're listening and you like it. Thank you for your support. Listeners can also check out the latest episodes from Ryland Mason. In Murder in Stratton County, the killer is discovered, and Ryan Green finds himself in a new role. Also, in Found on the High Seas, bad weather threatens the passengers and crew on the cruise ship.